Welcome back for another video. I'm Eharbad, and this is another raid video focusing on the free-to-play challenge series for 2023. It is episode 38, and it's been a while since we've gone through all the images and done the catch-up on that, and unfortunately, if you were hoping to see that, this video is not going to be that either. I will try and get it done soon, though. I know I haven't uploaded a video with the diary, the image diary, for about 2 weeks now, and they're really beginning to build up. Let's just leave it at that. But I thought we'll jump in and try and do a few things in the game, and essentially this fusion, bit of an odd one. We're kind of ending up sort of doing it on the challenge account. Like, I've completely skipped it on the main, but on the challenge account, because we pulled for Demitha, and I also did the champion training on the first weekend, and I actually finished first on the champion training. Demitha is actually now 6-star, as you can see. We will be booking her in CVC and slowly grinding out the masteries as well. But I finished top on the champion training tournament, which got me an extra 5 shards, along with finishing the summon rush. Having done the Demitha guaranteed summon, I ended up summoning enough mystery shards to get the rest of the fragments. Naturally, doing the champion training, I summoned around 300 mysteries, so I just did the extra 200 on the final morning, just to make sure I got those fragments. Having got that first place finish in the champion training meant that even though I'd skipped dragon, I was on course to be able to do the fusion, and it just kept the options open. I then, with the dungeon divers and ice golem, I made a decision that I just don't quite have enough gear. So I actually was farming this. I believe it was ice golem stage 2 I was farming. The void stage worked out quite nicely for me. So I was farming this and ended up finishing second in Ice Golem, which means that I can now actually finish the fusion without having to do any more summoning at all. We've got the Artifact Enhancement event, which I've nearly finished, just 200 points away from getting those fragments. And we've got quite a big dungeon divers. I don't know, did anyone else notice this, by the way? The first dungeon divers gave us greater oil here and superior oil here. And since this dungeon divers overlaps with Fire Knight, Spider, and a CVC, obviously a dungeon divers that the majority of the player base is more likely to engage with and more likely to complete, or at least get serious progress in. It's not lost on me that they've watered down the rewards. The other dungeon divers actually was a pretty attractive event with the greater oil and the superior oil. Both of those are high value items in terms of energy value. I didn't get the superior oil, unfortunately, although I actually probably would have liked to have done so. I didn't leave myself enough time to do it, to be honest. It wasn't something that I was intending on going after, but I would have been happy to have got it, and I could have probably invested a few more gems and a few more energy refills and actually got it done, and it probably would have been worthwhile in retrospect. But I'd always targeted this second dungeon divers, where we've got Fire Knight, Spider, and CVC coming up, as being one that would be more interesting. And now we've got a Fire Knight, and the actual Fire Knight tournament itself. If we jump in there very quickly, there's quite a lot to do. I've got less than 24 hours remaining, and I'm about halfway through. I'm probably not going to bother getting the 4-star chicken here for the extra 500 energy. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. That said, I would quite like to finish in one of these slots. Either 6th, 7th, or 9th would be my 3 preferred slot to finish in. With it 19 hours. Otherwise, what else can we say? Well, I mean, the big thing is I'm completely hard stuck on stage 49. It's so rough. I've tried it so many times with a number of different compositions. The biggest issue I have is that the waves I'm going up against are all force, and pretty much my entire roster currently is magic. So we'll jump in. I'll show you kind of what's happening. I actually think if I could clear this wave, in terms of boss encounters, I think I could clear all the way until probably the final iterations. But in terms of the waves, that's going to be more of a problem. So if we get the cleanse, that is just complete game over. So we have to control both of the Scartosis, and that just, unfortunately, isn't consistent enough. It would probably have been better with the Artak in the stun set, which I previously did have, but I've moved him into a regen set to be better at farming Sand Devil. But it just means that, like, right now, like, I can try this again, but I won't cycle back round to my AoE provoke before these Scartosis take a turn. So I'm kind of hoping that I end up getting a stun off like we did there. So I'll try and get the decrease speed on this one. And then I'm going to save my partial cleanse from Brogni for the time being. At least get some damage off by exploding those HP burns. But this Scartosis does not just a lot in terms of the cleanse, it's actually a really big heal as well. And then you also have these other things like block cooldown skills. These attack-based champions do a lot of damage as well. And then now Brogni's dead and I've got no reviver in this composition. If I try and bring in a reviver, then I just don't have enough control, or I don't have enough damage. It's actually really, really tough. And I look at the best teams in the clan that have done it, and we're looking at like legendary galore. You know, we've got really good TM control here, really good TM control there, AoE crowd control with also a crowd control on the A1 as backup. Really good healing support here, you know, great champions here in Pythion, AoE, Reviver, got Ultimate Gaelic there, you know, fantastic champion, like 5 legendaries. Then you look here, you got Duchess, Walking Doomdrang, Vogoth, like really, really strong set of champions, you know, Ugo basically a legendary. And then same even with Odd One's free-to-play account, like it's 4 legendaries and miscreated. So yeah, this one, even though you can say, yeah, this one's 3 legendaries as well, they're not quite the same caliber of legendary when it comes to wave control. So even if I, you know, swap things around and try and bring in more crowd control, which would be something like this, it's still not enough. But also the problem here is I then have 0 damage, so we can drop the defense, we can then drop attack as well, buff ourselves, try and get the freezes off. If we don't land them because we're magic, negative affinity, we didn't get them on Scartosis. We've got no one with like an AoE crowd control, so again it's going to be a wipe at that point. So it's proving pretty tricky with this set of champions. So I don't really have other crowd control options. Ronda was another potential option. I did try that. Again, we can show kind of how this will end up working if we bring, again, our 2 main crowd controllers and we bring in the Deacon Armstrong. Basically, again, look, we've got 4 magic champions going up against a team of force. So it's just going to be the same problems again. We don't have as consistent decrease attack this time, so they're going to take a lot more damage. We don't get those freezes off. We're basically ruined anyway. Let's try it one more time. See if we can actually get anything to work. Freezes off. We got them on who we needed to. I'll then decrease the attack. and then we'll save the A2 for the time being, because we really need to control the Scartosis most of all. And it might just be that right now we just don't quite have the champions to make this happen. That's kind of annoying, but we've got Rhonda, who's just a bit too slow, unfortunately. Rhonda couldn't come in with the A2 there, but let's try this again. And we'll block that one. But we're almost dead here as well, which is not helping. We need to get a shield up from Brogdon to try and heal these. They're going to get increased attack in a second. And we've lost a champion. So you're then like, well, what if you don't bring Brogdon? So now we're stripping down all the way down to here, and you bring in Arbiters, so we have a Reviver. And then what, we still potentially bring the Rhonda, we still bring all of our AoE kind of crowd controls that we have as options. We might in this instance have to drop the Rhonda, because now we don't have a decreased defense. Oh, we were going to bring Deacon, weren't we? So we can try this as the next option, but we got really no healing in this team as a result. So it then ends up being another set of problems. So we can try and freeze them again, and this time it works. So that's a good start. We'll drop the decrease attack, which obviously we hit on every single one of them. Why not? So yeah, like I've been trying this a bit, and it's really, really hard. But you can see even here we just have no damage as well. I think once I've 6-starred Vogoth, that will at least give me another option for AoE crowd control with a different affinity. That might help. Beyond that, in terms of the champions that I currently have, Demitha could potentially help here, just as with the A2 predominantly, as being someone who can really give us good healing, because we don't really have a lot of healing. Let's try and get freezes off. So that is another potential option. We'll try and decrease the duration of those buffs. At this point, we're going to have to revive. We can. And we'll give ourselves a little heal, a bit more control. But you can see this is hard work at this point. Let's try and get a freeze off here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you back once I've either succeeded with this team or failed. And then I'm going to show you something else in the account and kind of how we're getting on. I just thought I'd mix up the video, basically. We've done a number of videos that are kind of tend to be the same thing in the end, which is you watch me show a load of images and kind of give you an update of where the account is. One shot in, Provoke's all gone. Did we keep an eye which Scartosis? Try and block that one, and then I'll try and freeze this one. No freeze came out. Try and reduce the duration on the buffs. Let's try and something there. And now Arbiter's dead, and so we're dead. So we didn't even need to wait. We didn't even need to come back. And yeah, like I've been hard stuck on this floor. I don't think with the champions I currently have and the champions that I have built, I don't think I can pass it at the moment. I do think when Husk is 6-star, that might help. We have a slightly inconsistent, but an AoE stun at least as an option. So that would help on a different affinity. Seeker would help on other floors, but again, it's the affinity issue. Vogoth will help as well. So there's a number of options here where I think we might be in a better position. But, we've only got a week left. And the other thing, to be honest, that I need to do, I have beaten it, but I need to do all the secret rooms that I can. And I might do that on a live stream. I might go and live stream and see how many of the secret rooms we can get done. I think that could be quite interesting. Now, we don't have long left in the 2x Void, and I haven't yet decided whether to summon these or not. And I think I've been leaning on the side of that I should summon them, but I'm not 100% certain. If I do end up summoning them, I will include that in a standalone video, because I'm going to summon on my main account to get the first legendary tome. And in terms of faction wars, I've pushed up to about 520. Still only finished one, which is Barbarian. I know I have the champions to finish a few others, but so far I've been prioritizing getting 6 stars rather than 5 stars. And in some of these, I think to finish them off, I need a couple of 5-star supports. Interestingly, now with Inquisitor Shamail, who I have kind of built up, not fully. I think we haven't got any books in him still. Again, we're waiting for CVC. So he could slot in one of these roles. But I think we will still need at least either Mistress of Hymns or Sanguinia to 50. This would be ideal if I could have it on a 3-turn cooldown, to be honest, particularly to empower Shamail. And then I think with what we've got, the, say, 6 champions to choose from, Shamail, Deacon, Aethel, Armiger, Sanguinia, and Mistress of Hymns, I think we can finish this particular faction crypt, but I will need to get a couple of them to 5-star. Dark Elf, similar, I think, if we have a look at the options we have. I think if Caden was at 50, Captain Tamilla was a 50, and then with the 2 6-stars we've got here, Cold Heart and Crimson Helm, then that might be a viable path to take as well. I'm not sure who the 5th member should be. Probably a Painkeeper, to be honest, would be the best bet, and probably the best champion here to invest in. Useful for a number of parts of the game. So I think this is another one that we probably could get done with 2 6-stars and 3 5-stars. Maybe we'll need a 3rd 6-star. We'll have to kind of see how that goes. So I do think Dark Elf I could probably get done at some point. Right, what else did I want to show? It's a bit of a disjointed video, I'm not going to lie. But the reality is I've just not been feeling like fully enthused by the game recently. I know I said I'd do a state of the game video, and I will. I just haven't really had the mindset to do it. I've just been not really feeling not feeling the game recently, and that's definitely affected my desire to make videos or content generally. I've been kind of trying to just make sure I get the dailies done and keep the grind going, but I haven't been necessarily doing the creative side as much as I maybe would. So we'll probably do one tag team, and then I think we'll call this video it. And then my intention is probably to either live stream later tonight or tomorrow night. I do want to do a live stream. I think they're an interesting complement to the video series, and I think they kind of suit showing certain other parts of the game in a different way. I have to say these tag teams are looking pretty rough. Like these are not easy teams. I think we have a decent chance of going up against this player here. I will probably put the Arbiter team against this first team. I think we'll lose against that team. And I think we'll try and win the first 2. So I think that looks reasonable. Give it a go. I mostly do this on full auto. So the first team is a bit of a speed team we'll go in, we try and get some freezes off, and then we just Gembo them. I have rebuilt Gembo as well. And then the second team is meant to be a bit of a control team, but it didn't work out because they were faster than us. That said, we are cycling back round. They're not doing that much damage. I think the Ray was their main threat, and she died quite quickly. So we should win that. And then the third team, like I said, I didn't think we would necessarily win this. But we've got relatively tanky team with kind of decent survivability. We've got, one in Guardian, one in Regen, and then, a couple of clan boss champions that have high defense. I think if we can take down the Sill, which we might do, we'll then be in a position to win it, to be honest. So we might actually get the clean sweep, resisting all of our burns, but there we go. We did. 3 wins. I would quite like to get into silver, to be honest. It would be quite a nice little achievement, and it would unlock potentially a void shard, but equally the accessory, even if it's a 4 to 6 star accessory. It'd be quite good to start to get some of those accessories. So it'd be quite nice if we can. I do have enough bars to buy the void shard. It is only 1 shard though, so I don't know. We'll see. What else? Oh, this was the other thing I wanted to show. Last Sunday, I did my first ever Iron Twins battles, and let's do a few more. Let's see if we can get up to level 12. That was actually something I wanted to show in this video. I almost completely forgot about it. So it's kind of a bit of a different video. I'm kind of able to show you a little bit of parts of the game, kind of the progress that we've made with a bit of actual I'm trying to struggling with the words, with a bit of actual interaction in the game and a bit of gameplay, rather than just a stream of images. So I've shown how I'm hard stuck in Doom Tower. I've shown I've shown how I'm hard stuck in Doom Tower. I've shown how I'm approaching tag team. I've talked you through the inadvertent involvement in the fusion, which was not really intended, but it just sort of, with the events that I was doing that made sense for the account, we got in a position where the marginal effort required to actually get the fusion done, it almost became silly not to do it, I would say. So I'm kind of reluctantly doing the fusion. Got up to 23 6 stars on the account now. I think the main issue I've been having right now is I just don't actually have enough good gear to really to build everyone to a degree that I would be happy with. And I think if we want to push faction wars, I need more 5 stars. But if we want to potentially complete a hard Doom Tower cycle, I need more 6 stars. And equally, I feel like I need some slightly better champions in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, that's stage 7 done. Let's see if we can get stage 8. I'll probably then what I'll do actually, we've got a better idea. I will leave it here. I'll see how far I get, and I'll bring you back in towards the end of either the battle that I end up dying on, or towards the end of the 12th stage. We'll see which it will be, but either way, I'll see you in a minute. We're back, and we seem to lose. I actually wasn't watching, so let's try it, but let's put it on manual and see if we can get anything done. Put the decrease attack on. We've got decreased speed on, which means we're safe to buff now. Get our Brogni shield on. Pop the defense as well. And we'll also heal ourselves. Do a little bit of auto. Make sure we keep the decrease attack on. basically when the cleanse comes, we'll make sure that we use our abilities in such a way that it doesn't. Okay, the cleanse has come. Day 1. Get the decreased speed back on, or try to. Didn't work. We'll get leech on because that will allow us to heal up. The Mytha would help here. Decreased attack's going to help us a lot. Well, let's get the decreased speed on. Okay, now we can use our abilities. Get that block debuffs up and the shield, which will give us a bit of a heal. I think we can clear it, most likely, but probably not on full auto. I do think the Mytha will help enormously, though, for this encounter. We'll also just heal shield back and the continuous heal. We should be able to survive this. Yeah, we don't want to buff ourselves because there's no decreased speed on the boss. And get the HP burn going though. Bit of damage. Get that decreased attack back on. Again, we're going to skip buffing ourselves. If we can get that decreased speed, we did. Do a bit of damage. We can now buff ourselves. I think it's partly these turn counters. They're quite dangerous. These are the debuff counters. We had a way of having like decreased accuracy on the boss. Probably help us build enough resistance to not necessarily have to deal with it. Just keep on going. At least we know that we can auto up to stage 9. I don't think we can auto stage 10 right now. But like I said, I think if we do have the Mytha, extra healing that she'll bring on the A2, we don't really have a group healer. Syl would also help. We don't want to buff ourselves there, so we need to avoid that. Be nice if we had leech up right now. Get that decreased attack though. Will help us try and get the decreased speed. We succeeded. We can buff ourselves again and again, and then kind of want to. I think we're gonna have to do that. Add the continuous heal. Get the leech, and we can probably drop defense. Give us the opportunity to heal up. We'll cleanse ourselves at least of something. Brimstone on the boss. The boss is now cleansed again. Oh, the cleanse. It's infuriating. Hopefully we have a way of getting decreased attack on. We don't. Let's try and get decreased speed at least. No decreased attack is suboptimal, but we can buff ourselves. And we might be able to get back in time. We did. I think we're going to hit auto. Ooh, took a lot of damage there. I don't think we're going to be able to do it now. Not with Brogni and Stag Knight down. We haven't got a lot left in terms of damage to do. I think we're going to have to avoid buffing ourselves, try and get a bit more damage instead. Get the leech back on. Decrease attack back on. Pronto. We can at least get the decrease attack on. We'll lose Delaja. I think we're going to have to just risk that, try and heal ourselves. I think this is game over. Just trying to get a little bit of healing. Does so much damage, yeah. Never mind, we tried. But we failed. We wasted a bit of energy, but yeah, it's what it is. Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. The Mytha will make it easier. We'll have at least a round of block damage. We'll have a bit more healing. It's definitely something we can work on. Yeah, so I think that is now definitely going to call it a day on this video. I hope that you've been interested, at least. The video's not been completely nonsensical. And I am going to set up a Discord. That is one thing I'm going to do. And I will get a video about State of the Game out soonish. And I will do another stream probably, I'd say, tomorrow at this juncture. I think it's probably not going to be any opportunity to do it tonight. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.